Welcome to the Dose of Good podcast, where we celebrate good people and organizations working to make the world a better place. It can be easy to get caught up in the bad things going on in the world and forget about the good happening all around us each and every day. I'm your host, Erin, and I want to share these stories with you and give them the attention they deserve. I hope this podcast educates and inspires you and maybe even motivates you to share a dose of good in your community. Now let's get into today's episode. Today I'm speaking to Sarra Catizone, who is the current Miss Londonderry, which is part of the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program, and she's also the founder of STEMinist and wears many other hats from fitness instructor to EMT to pharmacy student. She's just busy with a whole array of things and really having a positive impact on her community. And I'm happy to be talking with her today, sharing her story, what she's up to. So I hope that you enjoyed today's episode and learning more about Sarra. Today I'm here with Sarra Catizone, an extraordinary young lady who is having a positive impact on her community. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. So I wanted to start with the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program. We've had a couple of title holders on the show previously. You are currently Miss Londonderry and will compete for Miss New Hampshire at the beginning of May. How did you get involved with the Miss New Hampshire organization?
So my 8th grade teacher was actually the Miss New Hampshire teen director, Patty LaMontagne. So starting about in middle school, she was trying to get me involved in the program. But at the time I was a competitive dancer and didn't have much time, but I was always interested in it. So I was like, maybe later. And then one of my close friends, who's also in that same class, competed for Miss New Hampshire's teen. I was really intrigued in it. At this time, I was about to enter college. Competitive dance was over for me, and I was looking for another way to show my dance abilities, another way to get back onto the stage. So I connected with Patty LaMontagne again, connected with my friends who previously competed, and then I joined the Miss New Hampshire program in 2022 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And what is the number one thing you've learned from your involvement with the organization?
I have gained so much confidence and pre-professional skills that I don't think I would have gained from any other program. Being able to sit down in a setting like this, interviews, I personally put all my success in my grad school interviews for all the interview prep that I did for Miss America and Miss New Hampshire, but also the confidence I've gained in myself, being able to public speak, being able to network with anyone is truly an unbelievable program, and I try to get as many people involved in it because it has so many benefits.
That's great, and that's partly why I enjoy having people who are in the organization on the show, because I think you do learn so many skills, and everyone I've met who's been involved is exceptional. So, and that must be some credit to the organization,
yes,
helping to teach these skills and everything.
Definitely.
So can you tell us about the talent that you'll be doing at Miss New Hampshire? Because I know you said you do competitive dance, but you also play piano?
Yes.
Okay.
So my first year, I did dance on the Miss New Hampshire stage. However, I have always been a pianist. I've been classically trained since I was 5 years old. It was something that I was almost nervous and scared to bring to the stage. I had a lot of stage fright when it came to playing the piano. My hands would shake when I would sit down. I'd forget my music completely. But through this program, I have gained so much confidence in myself, and I decided that it was finally time to step on that stage with this talent that I've had for so long. Piano is also so underrepresented in so many different areas. It's very rare to see an instrument player on the Miss America stage. In the past couple of years, we've seen a lot more. But yeah, this year we have 3 piano players too, which is so awesome. I'm so happy to see the piano representation, but I will be doing a classical piano performance to Golden Hour for my talent this year.
Oh, awesome.
Yes,
That's
so
great.
exciting.
That is nice to hear that there's more instrumental talents being represented, because I've been to a couple of Miss New Hampshires and, of course, like watching Miss America and stuff. It's seems very dance and singer heavy. Not that
Yes,
there's anything
definitely.
wrong with that, but it's
Yeah.
nice to have different talents.
Exactly,
So,
yeah, and I'm excited to bring that to the stage, especially Golden Hour. It's a song that everyone is familiar with. They might not exactly know, but when they hear the tune, they're like, oh, I know this song.
Okay,
Whether
yeah.
it's from social media, TikTok, just hearing it on the radio. So I'm excited to add some classical elements into it and bring it to the stage.
How do you feel? So I know they've incorporated a new element where they kind of talk about like a current event or give you a topic to then just talk about. So I wanted to know how you feel about that aspect and also the interview portion.
Yes, interview is actually my favorite portion of the competition.
Okay.
I love sitting down, having a personal conversation. I truly feel like the judges get to know me during this time, who Sarah is to her core. But the hot topics round is obviously a little nerve-wracking,
Sure.
but it truly shows how much prep and dedication goes into competing in Miss New Hampshire, because you have to be well-versed. You have to know everything that's going on, the current state of the United States. Any topic, any word can come up on that screen, and you have to give an answer in 30 seconds. So I truly think it differentiates the Miss America program from other systems too, because it shows that you do have to be well-rounded and knowing what's going on in current events.
Well, I give credit to all of you who participate because when I watched that, I think it was the first year that they did it, and I mean, even if you know a topic very well, whatever it is, current events, whatever, just having to come up with something immediately in 30 seconds, I feel like my brain would just go blank and like,
Yes.
I have no idea what to say.
Most definitely.
So-
It's a little scary sometimes. I definitely have my moments because I practice it all the time. At home, I have a little fishbowl, and my mom
good.
puts random words in it.
That's a great
That's how
way
we
to practice.
Yeah, but it's definitely, there's moments that I'm like, what do I say right now? But it's a good challenge. I love a good challenge too.
Oh, good. Well, it sounds like you prepare well, so
Yes.
that's good. So moving on from that a little bit, what is STEMinist and how did it get started?
STEMinist is something that is so near and dear to my heart. I truly love the fact that I brought this to life and have been bringing it to so many different people. It started when I was facing inequality in the STEM field. I am an applied biomedical science major. It's a mouthful of words. At the University of Massachusetts in Lowell. When I first got into the STEM field, I was definitely looked at differently. I definitely was brushed off for different opportunities, and other people were getting it, just frankly based off of the fact that I was a woman. When I went into a mentor pairing event for science students, there was no female mentors, and that was a shock to me as a freshman, a new 18-year-old going into the STEM field. I was looking for someone that was similar to me, someone that I could connect with, someone that could help me get to the next part in my career. And I could not find one. So I decided to become that role model and go around being that mentor for other girls. I've created a mentorship pairing program where I have founded a bunch of girls that are in different fields of STEM, whether it's laboratory science, healthcare, whatever it is. And I pair them with people who are either in the late high school phase or in the early college phase, so they can connect and they can really get to know each other and help each other get to that next point in their fields.
That's amazing that you're doing that, and I'm sorry to hear that you had that experience. And I don't personally know a lot about STEM fields, but I know that has been something that's kind of been talked about as being an issue, and it makes me a little bit sad that in 2025 it doesn't sound like it's
Exactly.
much better.
No.
Because that's actually something I was going to ask you later,
Yeah.
but if you think that you're seeing a change in the STEM field for women, or if there's still work to be done, and it sounds like there is.
There's definitely still work. About 28% of women make up the workforce in STEM fields and in college majors too. So that statistic kind of comes from the fact that the higher you go up in the STEM fields and the salary ranges, the lower representation we get in women.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is a shocking statistic to hear. So I think it's definitely gotten better with more role models and representation coming to the stage. There's been so many people coming to compete in Miss America, but also just in other fields stepping up and saying, hey, this is unfair. We need to work on this, and showing who they truly are. There's this big misconception that you need to fit some mold to be a woman in STEM, and that is truly not fair and not real, in my opinion. That's why I like to come forward, show that I do pageants, I'm a piano player, I do dance, but I'm also a woman in STEM. So being a woman in STEM doesn't define you, and you don't need to change yourself to fit that mold. old.
Well, that's a great way to think about it and an attitude to go in with, and I'm glad that you're sharing that with other people. You talked a little bit about the mentorship, matching people up with a mentor. Is that different than your school-aged program?
Yes,
Or
so there's
okay,
two different ones because when
okay,
I was looking at the STEM field and how to tackle this problem, I realized that there was three areas that are completely separate and needed different methods to tackle them.
okay,
So my mentorship program is more aimed for the late college, early college students who are trying to get into STEM fields but are feeling a little lost. So that mentorship program is for them, find their way. So then I wanted to create a younger program for early STEM education. And because I realized that a lot of kids aren't excited for science. I
yeah,
think a lot of the education system, the way it is right now, is science is really hard. It's all mathematical equations,
oh
it's
yeah,
lab reports. And most people see that and they're like, I don't want to do this, especially children, young age children. I know when I was younger, that's not something I was super interested
yeah, yeah,
in.
yeah.
So I like to go into schools. I have created an early education program where I get kids excited for math and science. I show that you can do cool projects like make slime, you can explode things. There's so many fun fields. You can work with each other to solve problems. So it kind of changed what STEM looks like in their eyes at that age. And I also just dropped on Friday my Sarah the STEMinist book.
Yes, I was going to
Yes.
ask you about that. That's so exciting. So go
Yes.
ahead, tell us more about it.
Yeah, so I've now incorporated that because when I was going into schools and I was doing readings, I realized that there wasn't a lot of women in STEM books, nothing that I was personally relating to, and it wasn't really aligning with the hashtag STEMinist brand. So I decided to indulge on this project, which was so fun. I love doing it. And now I'm preparing for a library school tour where I'm going to go in and read that book, show what Woman in STEM is to children, and I'm excited to incorporate that into my early STEM education.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
what goes into, I guess, writing your own book and, self-publishing, I'm assuming?
Yes, yeah,
So
it was a lot of work. If you asked me 5 years ago if I were to do this, I would say no.
yeah.
It was something completely out of my comfort zone. I've always been good at English, but I'm clearly a science girl.
Okay, yeah.
So it's definitely a challenge. Sitting down, writing a book was kind of the easy part. The illustration part was crazy. I am not very good at illustrating. So I sat down with someone that could help me do the illustrations, just to make sure that the book was showing authentically what I wanted it to show.
Sure, yeah.
And I can't draw. So we need to get
I
someone that can draw.
understand. I cannot either. So.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it was such a fun process though, that I love the editor phase. We're going through, you're taking stuff out, you're adding stuff in, you're changing the illustrations. And just to see what the original book like compared to now, it is so, so different.
Oh,
So I'm so
wow.
excited to just see the progression of the book, and I'm excited to share it with the world now that it's out.
Well, I'll definitely leave a little link in our description for that so people want to check it out or
Get
buy
Sarah
it
the STEMinist
themselves.
on Amazon.
All right, there you go. You are also working on a bill to establish scholarships for women in STEM in New Hampshire. Can you tell us
Yes.
more about that?
Yeah, that is the third phase of hashtag STEMinist. It's public policy. Because I really realized to make impactful change, we need to make policies and legislation that will kind of supplement that so we can make impactful change. So I'm working with Senator Carson. The legislation period in New Hampshire is currently over. So we're going to work on it in September. I really wanted to make a scholarship or grant for just women in STEM in New Hampshire because when I was applying to schools, currently even for grad school, there's no scholarships for women in STEM. And to get women in STEM, we need to make it equitable and equal for everyone. So everyone has a chance to succeed and everyone has the opportunity to be in a higher STEM education if they want to. So that's mostly what that's for. So everyone has an equal chance to get into these grad programs because schooling is expensive.
It is, yeah, and it's just getting
Yes.
more and more. I mean, even since,
Exactly.
I was in school a while ago, but since then, it's just probably at least doubled, if not tripled.
Yes,
So
it is absolutely insane. I just completed my in May. I'll be completing my 4 years of undergrad, and then I'm doing 3 more years of grad school. and it is expensive. And there's little to no scholarships available too, which is so sad. So I'm so excited. Hopefully this passes.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm excited to work on it so we can make STEM equal and accessible for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. And now going along with the advocacy and that stuff, you have a couple of state proclamations. Can you tell us what they're for and what is the process like to get a proclamation?
Yes. So the first proclamation I worked with Governor Chris Sununu, former Governor Chris Sununu. We created a Women in STEM Day in New Hampshire. It was on June 3rd.
Okay.
It's definitely a process to get a proclamation. You have to go on the New Hampshire website. You submit basically what you want the proclamation to say.
Okay.
So I sat down, I wrote that out. I wanted to see what I wanted this day to represent in New Hampshire. And then you submit it and you don't hear back for a while, which is a little scary.
Oh, yeah.
And then one day you'll get an email saying if your proclamation passed or if it didn't. So that one passed. I was so excited. Recognized Women in STEM Day in New Hampshire, which is so big for New Hampshire, really working on women in STEM, which I love to see. The second one was very recent. It was Endometriosis Awareness Month, which is coming to an end now. It's this March, actually.
Oh, nice.
I worked with Governor Kelly Ayotte, current governor, to come up with this. This one was definitely more of a process because it was a whole month instead of a day. So I needed to kind of detail what I wanted this whole month to show. I have struggled with endometriosis for 6 years now. Tomorrow, I actually get my surgery for endometriosis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring awareness to it because I am an advocate for women in STEM, but also female reproductive rights and female reproductive diseases are very under-researched. So I wanted to bring light to that because I have been misdiagnosed for 6 years with this disease, and I finally got a diagnosis this year. So I wanted to bring light to that, kind of show that chronic illness is something that the state is looking to advocate for.
Well, I think it's great that you're bringing awareness to that because, well, I don't personally know anybody that has it. I feel like I've been hearing more and more about it in recent years, and I think that's because more people are being diagnosed.
Definitely.
So hopefully there'll be more education on it so that there's more service for people who are going through it.
Yeah, and that was the goal because a lot of people didn't know what it was too. So I wanted to bring the word out at least so people would be like, oh, what is that? Let me look that up.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Well, so is it just the governor that has to approve that, or does it have to go through like the House and all
the House and all that?
Oh,
but the
my
governor
gosh,
can
okay.
approve. Yeah, the governor can approve it too. It depends on. We don't really see what happens in that stage, but it can come across the governor's desk and they can just approve it too.
Okay.
So completely up to that.
All right.
I don't unfortunately get to see that part of it.
Sure, understandable. But it is a process, so that's great that it all happened for you.
Yeah, super excited.
Yeah. So in addition to this, now, do I have it correct? You're a pharmacy student?
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
And also EMT, Pilates, and bar instructor?
Yes.
So many things. Do you want to go into any more detail about any of those?
Yeah. I guess we could do pharmacy school since I've been talking about that.
Sure.
And we could tie it into EMT. They kind of connect with each
Yeah,
other.
I'm curious how you got to become an EMT.
Yes. So originally, when I started my academic career, I knew I wanted to be in healthcare. I just wasn't quite sure what that was going to look like for me. Originally, I wanted to be a dentist. Went into shadowing. Did not like that. No hate to dentists. Amazing field. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, sure.
Then I wanted to be a PA, and then that wasn't exactly right for me. And then I stumbled across pharmacy actually from a former Miss New Hampshire contestant, Dr. Kenzie Howe.
Okay.
She introduced me to pharmacy. I went in, I shadowed a few pharmacists, and absolutely loved it. So to get into all these grad programs along the way of your 4 years of undergraduate schooling, you need to have patient care hours. So you can get that through different ways. You can be like a CNA, you could be an EMT. I decided to go the EMT route. I was very interested in emergency medicine, and I really wanted to get hands-on into that field. So I went into EMT school, which is about 4 months. It's a very grueling process.
I can imagine.
Yeah, you learn a lot in a short period of time. Learn how to save lives in 4 months.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Crazy. You do ride-alongs, but I loved it. I fell in love with it. The adrenaline rush you get when you're sitting in the ambulance and the sirens go on, you get that call and you're on scene. absolutely fell in love with it. I have been an EMT for we're going on year 2 now.
Okay.
Yeah, so that has been absolutely amazing. And I realized I want to transition that passion into my pharmacy schooling.
Okay.
So when you get into pharmacy school, you can pick your specialization. I definitely am interested in emergency medicine, and I began pharmacy school in August of this year. I got accepted to MCPHS in Manchester, New Hampshire for their accelerated doctor of pharmacy program.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'll be going there.
So this is my own lack of knowledge, but
Yeah.
pharmacy and emergency medicine, what does that mean exactly, and how does that all like work together?
Yes, that was the questions I had because when I thought of pharmacy, I thought of CVS,
That's how I would think
Walgreens,
too, yeah.
exactly. And I was like, I don't want to do that. But Kenzie definitely showed me that there's different fields of pharmacy. And once I heard that, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go explore it. So I went to the Elliott in Manchester. That's where I did all of my shadowing. I shadowed different types of pharmacists. There's so many different types of pharmacists that people do not know about. I did not know that
Okay.
until last year. There's pediatrics, there's emergency medicine, there's orthopedic, there's so many. There's
wow.
cardiology.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was
Yeah.
that wide of a field. I always just, like most people probably thought, okay, you work
CVS,
in
yeah.
a pharmacy and you give people their medicines. You know,
Exactly.
so-
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I shadowed an emergency medicine pharmacist, and it was so cool. They're on site in the ER at any hospital. At least at the Elliott, all of their pharmacists respond to all active trauma calls. So when
Okay.
they're in the trauma bin, they're treating patients, the nurses, the doctors, the pharmacist is also in there treating that active
Oh.
trauma call. And that was so cool to me because that's what I do as an EMT. So it's so cool to like tie them together. And the second I
Yeah.
saw that, I was like, I'm doing that.
That's amazing to learn because I never knew, I've heard of like anesthesiologists and like that,
Yes.
but I never knew they had like a pharmacist in there in the emergency.
Yeah, no, a
so-
lot of people don't know about it. I didn't even know about it, but it's so cool to see like the
But it
back
makes
workings.
sense because if they need something for someone quickly, you can't be, calling up the store pharmacy and trying to
Exactly.
get
And be like,
some-
what do we get here? As they're
So-
coding. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, well, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
And was there anything else that you
Yeah, we can talk about I love being a fitness instructor. I'm also a fitness instructor on top of everything else I do. I know, it's like, how does she have the time? I figured out. I recently became a fitness instructor. Over the inner workings of the past 2 semesters, I did my group fitness certification, passed that, immediately went into training. I've always been a lover of Pilates, bar. Because I have endometriosis, heavy lifting and running is hard on my body. It's hard on my
Yeah.
bones. When I do that, my recovery period is so long. I can only work out like 2 times a week, but I love to work out. So that was hard for me. So when I started doing Pilates and bar, they're low impact, high intensity. So you'll see people of all ages, all backgrounds doing it because it looks like super small movements. You're probably going to be like, what is that? But it hurts and it's good.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I don't know if I've taken an official class with
Mhm.
a teacher, but I have done like Pilates bar
Yes,
videos on
yeah.
YouTube, and it's amazing. I like them because it's not so intense that you're like, oh my gosh, I
Yes.
can't breathe. But the next day, I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling that because that
Yeah.
those
The little
especially,
pulses
like,
they
the
get
bar,
you.
It's like ballet a little bit.
Yes.
So yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I loved it. So then I became an instructor, and it's been such an amazing experience. All of my classes have been waitlisted, which is so cool being a
That's
new instructor.
exciting.
Yeah, I love helping people, introducing them to Pilates, introducing them to fitness and healthy habits because I really had to put that into my life when I got diagnosed with endometriosis. I had to really focus on those healthy habits so
Yeah.
I could function every day.
Sure.
Yeah, dealing with chronic illness is definitely a challenge, but movement and fitness definitely eases all of that
Well,
for
that's
me.
good.
Yeah, and I love helping other people too. Especially with the Miss America program, we have a partnership with the American Heart Association. So I've been able to kind of incorporate both of those together, being a fitness instructor, but also advocating for heart health.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's definitely really cool. Love it. Come to a class anytime. I love doing it.
Now, where are your classes?
Currently, I'm at UMass Lowell, but it's like an open gym. Like anyone can go. I have a membership there. It's not just students.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Yeah, the class sizes are like 60 plus, but
oh my gosh.
Yes, it's crazy. It's so
I
crazy.
pictured like, maybe 10, 15
people.
Yeah. That's a lot of people to teach.
When I taught my first class, like 50 people came and I was like, I can't. I'm so scared.
I'd be intimidated.
Yeah, I was like, and then you're working out in front of everyone. It's a weird experience at first.
They must have a huge room to be able to fit that many
It is
people.
so big. For bar, the class sizes are smaller. It's about like 20 just because we only have so much space for the bar. But Pilates can get up to 60 people.
Goodness.
It's absolutely insane.
Well,
but I love it.
Great for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. I love doing it. Definitely a plus to also get paid to work out. That's cool.
Hey, even better, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. So as you had said, and we've seen is very apparent through all the things you have going on, you are very busy. So how do you manage your time and what motivates you?
Yeah, it motivates me every day. All the goals that I've been accomplishing, it really drives me to keep continuing. I definitely have my days that I'm like, I'm tired. I don't know what's next. Like, I've accomplished a lot already, but what's next? I'm sometimes so fixated on the what's next part. But being in center and focusing on the now has really helped with that. But in order to keep my time management, what I like to do is I create goal checkpoints. So at the beginning of every month, I'll create goals. And then I'll literally write in my calendar, like, goal checkpoint. And I'll do it every, like, 2.5 weeks just to see where I'm at. And it's usually on a Sunday. I'll sit down and be like, where am I at on this? Like, where am I at? I have a lot of projects going on. Which ones do I want to focus on? Which ones need more attention? Which ones are complete? So that has really been helpful for me, especially when I have so much going on. But I also make sure that I'm always creating new goals and setting new reachable goals and working on my goals that are currently. So I love incorporating that. That has been life-changing to incorporate.
I think that's great that you not only set those goals, but that you have that check-in, like, okay, where am I at with this goal? Am I where I want to be? Do I need to implement anything else to make this goal happen? That's a great way to go about it.
Yes, it's been so helpful because previously I'm an ambitious person. I have a lot of things I want to do, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm going to do all of them at once. But I realized very quickly that is not attainable. Very difficult.
Yeah. Do you find because of that being that personality type that you get burnt out at all? Or
I have definitely had my periods of complete burnout, but what has pulled me out of that has truly been my support system. My mom, my dad, they're so amazing. My grandmas, they truly say, like, you can keep going, you got this. But I will say it is normal to have burnout, especially in STEM fields and science majors. Being a hard science major while also trying to do everything, it becomes a lot at some points. But that's also why I've really been putting emphasis on my mental health, taking care of that. Because if you're not good on the inside, you're not going to be good on the outside. So that's truly been my number one goal, and that has been life-changing.
That is so important, and I'm glad you highlighted that, because I think a lot of times when you have so much going on, taking care of yourself, not only your body but your mind, is like bottom of the list.
Yes.
Like, I'll take care of all this other stuff first, and then I'll take care of myself. But it's really important to take care of yourself in order to have all those other things happen.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah.
What advice would you give to young girls that you meet?
I would say dream big, and no dream is too big. I'm a big supporter of chasing your dreams and going after them 150%. As a young girl, I had so many dreams, and looking back now, I've accomplished so many of them just by going for it and absolutely committing to it. So I would say keep going, keep pushing, don't limit your dreams, and keep going for them.
That's amazing, and good for you, because, there's people twice your age who haven't accomplished their dreams, so that's really amazing that you've been able to do that.
My biggest thing is I don't want to live life with any regrets. So if I can do it, whether I have no idea what I'm doing, like writing a children's book, I'm just going to do it. I'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah, that's a great attitude.
Yeah.
Then I just have two final questions that I like to ask everybody that comes on. The first being, which either nonprofit we should have on next as a guest, or if you know someone else like yourself that's exceptional that we should talk to.
Yes. Oh, let me think. I believe you already did Best Buddies, right?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
Yes, that
Best
was a
Buddies is
great
so
one.
amazing. I love that
I
program.
actually did them after having Emily Spencer on because
Oh,
she had
yes.
Miss Inspiration on with her, and they both
Yes.
talked about Best Buddies. So
Oh,
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I would definitely say the American Heart Association, the New Hampshire American Heart Association.
Mhm.
They're absolutely amazing. They've raised so much money for heart health and women's heart health too.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend them. They are big advocates for women's rights, women's health, and I love that organization.
And then the last thing is, what is the kindest thing you've either witnessed or yourself been a part of?
Ooh. I would say something very simple, which people often overlook, but simply just paying for the person behind you
Mhm.
at a drive-through, Dunkin' Donuts. It's a few dollars, it's something small, but it's so kind and it always creates a ripple of change, and it just shows that there's so much good in this world too. And it's just a small act of kindness, and I always try to represent small acts of kindness in every portion of my day.
I think that's a great example because, one, you don't know what someone in the car behind you or line behind you, you don't know what their day's like or what they're
Exactly.
going through. And you never know, that small little gesture, an act of kindness could turn their whole day around or could
Exactly.
make their day, that much better or more positive. And again, then they might pass it in that ripple effect.
Yes,
So
I
think
absolutely
that's
love
great.
that. It creates a nice chain.
Definitely, definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you, and I wish you all the best of luck at Miss New Hampshire.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I really enjoyed speaking to Sarra today and getting to know her better and know about all the wonderful things that she is doing. I hope that you enjoyed hearing this episode as well, and make sure that you check out her book. I'll leave a link to it, as well as her Instagram, where you can learn more about STEMinist. Thank you, Sarra, for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with me. I wish you all the best at the Miss New Hampshire competition. And who knows, maybe she will be the next Miss New Hampshire. We will see. But thank you for listening to this episode or watching if you're on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave a rating and review, subscribe on YouTube as well, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Dose of Good Podcast, so you can spread the word and more people can have a dose of good in their day. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.